Hey, welcome to our Security AI Plus training. Today, we're going to be reviewing a really critical and honestly often invisible part of building and securing modern AI systems. Yeah, so in this explainer, we are honing in on a threat that can, quietly just pull the rug out from under all your other AI security work. It's this tricky problem that mixes data leakage, unvetted tech, and, well, unpredictable AI behavior into one giant blind spot. All right, so let's just kick things off with a question that really gets to the core of the issue, right? What if your company's biggest AI vulnerability isn't some super sophisticated hacker from the outside? What if it's actually something happening right inside your own walls every single day? This is exactly where we need to talk about a really crucial concept. And that brings us to this idea that, let me tell you, security and governance teams are paying a lot more attention to lately: shadow AI. You can think of it as the AI you can't see, but you better believe it can see your data. So what is it really? At its heart, shadow AI is basically any unapproved, unmonitored, or uncontrolled use of AI inside a company. Now you might be thinking, oh, that just sounds like shadow IT, right? And you're not wrong. It's kind of the next evolution of that. But, and this is a big but, it's a fundamentally different and way more dangerous beast. Why? Because AI doesn't just store your information. It learns from it. It transforms it. And this can look like a lot of different things. It could be as simple as an employee pasting a sensitive chunk of code into a public chatbot to get some help debugging it. Or it could be as big as an entire department deploying its own AI systems without any security review. The key takeaway here is that these tools aren't just holding your data in a box, they're actively learning from it. And that means a single mistake can spread and multiply in ways that are incredibly hard to track, let alone fix. Okay, so why is this so incredibly dangerous? Well, security experts are now treating shadow AI as its own distinct threat class. And for good reason. It completely bypasses all your carefully built enterprise controls, it creates these huge compliance gaps, and it widens your attack surface in ways you can't even see. So let's break down the 6 critical risks that really define this threat. First up, and probably the most obvious one, is the massive risk of data leakage. I mean, think about it. Every single time an employee pastes confidential information, code, contracts, you name it, into an unapproved external tool, boom, you've lost control. That data could end up being used to train some third-party model, it could be logged forever, and it could be quietly triggering major compliance violations under things like GDPR or HIPAA, and nobody in your organization even knows it's happening. And this right here, this number really drives home the financial stakes. We are not talking about a slap on the wrist. Under regulations like Europe's GDPR, a serious data breach can cost you up to 4% of your company's global annual revenue. That's a catastrophic, potentially business-ending kind of fine. And it goes way beyond just direct data leaks. These unmonitored tools create enormous compliance gaps. They're operating completely outside of the required security reviews, and they're violating foundational governance frameworks like the NIST AI RMF. And at the exact same time, they're expanding your digital attack surface with all this invisible code, these plugins and APIs that your security team has never, ever laid eyes on. Right. So this also means you have a complete and total loss of governance. There are no logs, no audit trails, zero accountability. And worse, you're basically opening the door for employees to put way too much trust in these unvetted tools. They could be using flawed, biased, or just plain made-up AI outputs in critical business decisions, stuff that could end up in front of customers, regulators, or even in a court of law. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Check this out. Who do you think is driving the biggest risk here? You might think it's junior employees, but nope. The research shows it's often the executives and senior staff. Why? Precisely because they're confident they know how to manage the risk, all while they're handling the company's most sensitive information. So what does that mean in practice? It means the crown jewels. We're talking merger and acquisition plans, high-level strategy docs, board materials. All of that is being exposed to these unmanaged systems. The potential for a devastating strategic leak coming from the very top of the company is just enormous. Okay, so it is crystal clear that this is a serious problem. And the first instinct, that sort of knee-jerk reaction, is lock it down, block everything. But that's actually the wrong move. And this is a really crucial point. Trying to just block every single AI tool out there is a losing battle. Your employees are smart, they're motivated, and they will always find a workaround. The winning strategy isn't blocking. It's providing safe, approved alternatives that actually meet their needs. This idea is called governed enablement. And this approach, Governed enablement, it gives us a clear blueprint for tackling these risks effectively. It's not about being the Department of No. It's about creating a solid framework so you can say yes, but do it safely. This whole strategy really rests on 4 key pillars, and they all have to work together to create a secure AI ecosystem. You can think of it like this. First, you build a strong foundation, then you set clear rules, then you get visibility into what's happening, and finally, and this is key, you offer a better way forward. Pillars 1 and 2 are all about governance and policy. First, you need a formal governance structure, like an AI governance committee. But just as important, you need clear, simple policies. We're not talking about some 100-page legal document that nobody's going to read. We're talking about a straightforward guide that tells employees exactly what data can be used in which tools, setting really clear boundaries. Okay, next up, pillar 3, you've got to be able to see the problem. I mean, you can't manage what you can't measure, right? This is where monitoring and discovery tools come in. They are absolutely essential for understanding where and how shadow AI is actually being used in your organization and what kind of data is really at risk. But honestly, the single most effective defense you have is a good offense. And that brings us to pillar 4, which is easily the most important step. Look, the reason shadow AI exists in the first place is because employees have a need that isn't being met. So by providing your teams with safe, powerful, and easy-to-use alternatives, you completely remove their incentive to go rogue. And this chart just perfectly illustrates the difference, doesn't it? On one side, you have the unvetted, no logs, leaky, non-compliant world of shadow AI. And on the other, you have approved, enterprise-grade tools. They're secure by design, they're auditable, they're compliant, and they come with contractual safeguards that actually protect your data. It takes all the risk and all the guesswork out of the equation for your employees. So this all comes back to a core principle for securing modern AI systems. It's really a fundamental shift in mindset, away from just control and towards enablement. It's pretty simple when you think about it. The more responsive your official AI program is, the less shadow AI you're going to see. When you make it safe and easy for people to innovate with approved AI tools that are built right into their workflow, the motivation to use risky, unapproved systems, it just evaporates. You solve the problem by providing a much better solution. All right, so as we start to wrap this up, let's leave you with one final thought, a question to take back to your teams as you build out your own AI security strategy. You know what AI your company has approved, but do you know what AI your company is actually using? This is the central question you absolutely need to be able to answer, because closing that gap, the one between your official, approved AI list and the reality of what's happening day to day, well, that's the key to truly securing your organization's AI journey.